Oh, hello. Let me see. Okay. Hello, and we are live. Welcome, everybody. We are live. Songversation. My name is Neni Carolina Chacin, and I am a professional singer, a software engineer, a business and life coach for strategies to automate and optimize your life for success. Thank you so much for tuning in one more time. This is a concert version on Saturdays. We have a special guest with us today, and we also have three premiere of songs live. And before we start, I just want to tell you that the sponsor for this week, very grateful to have Casablanca House of Pastry. They have a beautiful cafe based on our chef Youssef, who is specialized in French pastry and creates amazing croissants, pain chocolat, all kinds of almond croissants, any kind of croissants that you like, the best ones, huge ones, and delicious ones. And they are your home away from home. And they have Instagram. You can follow them on Instagram, Casablanca House of Pastry, or on Facebook, Casablanca House of Pastry. And they are very loving and welcoming to all the people. They have a most top quality for cleanliness and product and service. And they're ready for you when the doors open to welcome you to stay in. Meanwhile, they are open for pickup and deliveries. In any case, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you. Welcome to my Songversation. We have a special guest today, and I'm going to request him on Instagram. We're live on Instagram. Oh, there you are. We're live on Instagram. We're live on Facebook. We're live on Periscope. We're live on Twitch. And we are very welcome. We welcome you all, and please tell a message, where you're connecting from. And let me just prepare here, making sure that everything is ready for our, let me see. All right. Let me just connect here and making sure. Let me see. Yes, and yes, I'm going to put you in. I'm going to request our special guest to join us. Let's see if you can send a request. If you can send a request to join me. Oh, there you go. Here you are. Add. And there you are. I hope you guys can see. There you go. Hello, Dominique. So, welcome everybody. This is, let me see, let's wait until. Okay, so everybody can see you now on all the other platforms. Yes. So welcome to the Songversation. Thank you so much. You can follow him at Xenameir, and his name is Dominique. And he is a special friend that I connected through the Genius Coaching with Jay Shetty. We're both ambassadors of his meetup groups all over the world. And I suppose since you're in Minnesota, that's where you are ambassador of. And so welcome so much. Thank you so much for joining me in the live today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. So the special guest is Dominique, because I joined his open mic, which he hosts, and I want him to introduce himself. But I invited him because during his open mic that he hosted on Instagram Live, It was amazing. There are some incredible artists that he featured, and I sang, and he actually performed some beautiful written by him spoken word, and I really was touched with one of them. I said, I really want you to share this with my audience, and that's why I invited him, because I thought he had a beautiful message to share, a beautiful spirit to deliver it. And I want you to. So why don't you introduce yourself and tell everybody on the replay or on or live a little bit about you.
Yeah. So my IG handle is Xenameir, and I'm Dominique Jones. That is my actual name, but I use the term multiverse performance artist. I do a lot of theater, a lot of spoken word. I also dance, and I dabble in music from time to time. So I keep myself well buried and ventured. But I like using my art and my craft to help inspire myself and others to look at things differently and build each other up. So, yeah.
Very, very, very nice. That's sorry. Let me just. I'm trying to make sure that you appear here all the time. Oh,
that's fair.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
I suppose I can also. I also, as she had mentioned, I run a open mic that I call Strange Mic Mondays. That happens Monday nights, and it starts at 7 p.m. Central Monday night, which would be 8 p.m. Eastern, and then 5 p.m. Pacific. So for those in reference, that's about all the time zones I can give on the top of my head.
Yeah, it's wonderful because I love the name actually, Strange Open Mic, because it really, it makes you a little bit at ease, because a lot of, in the open mics, there's a lot of people that are amateur, there are a lot of people that have insecurities or fears, and to call it a strange open mic is like perfect, because whoever feels a little bit uncomfortable, it's like, well, it's okay, it's a strange open mic, so anything can happen. But it was not strange at all. The beautiful musicians that shared their spoken word or sang were absolutely beautiful in your last open mic. So I'm looking forward to joining you some more.
I'm looking forward to having you.
Yeah, so these are the kind of connections that you make when you are in a lockdown during a pandemic, where you have forced to do a Zoom call instead of meeting or sharing everywhere. And then we met on our international Zoom call with all the ambassadors, and we kind of connected because we were musicians, and we said something to each other, and voila. Next thing you know, I'm in his open mic. Next thing you know, he's in my Songversation. So this is how connections and is called relationship capital. If you know about a little bit, it's beautiful, and it's what really makes us really makes these times special.
Yeah, I've been really grateful for the connections like these that have been blooming from this, and like with the open mic, I've connected with you and Genius, deepening connections there, but I've also connected with artists that I've been following but I haven't really interacted with, but they come on and then I came on for their thing. So like we're getting to know each other more and connecting and like building this really worldwide community of artists, and I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, how in the world we would have met otherwise, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, no way.
Right.
No
we
way.
would have just been doing our own thing still.
Ever in our life, I would have met somebody from Minnesota, right? And I have to tell you a funny story. So, I am from Venezuela. I was born there. And it's very funny because when I say it very fast, people always say, Minnesota? Every single time. It drives me crazy. I said, no, not Minnesota, Venezuela. Very different. So Minnesota is my other birth town. It's a funny story, but that's the real story about Minnesota and me. That's the only thing I know.
I wonder if anyone has the inverse I haven't run into anyone who's been like Venezuela.
Yeah, so
but
anyway.
Maybe that'll happen sometime as things continue.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, so I would love to invite you and ask you to share the spoken word that you performed for us that day, if you wouldn't mind. So this is special, really a special thing. Um, Artists are so in touch with the feelings and what's going on, and people like you can really extract those feelings and put them into words. So I really appreciate if you share with the audience your beautiful message.
All right, so this is a spoken word piece of mine that is called the F word. I'm not going to give any more comments other than that. I'm just going to let you dive into the story from there. It's laced within the whispers in our heads, spiked within the voices of our enemies and friends, the chorus of chants, shants, won'ts, and don'ts that coats the door of progress like paint trying to cover the beware you might fail sign. As if failure was a beast with sharp mistakes for teeth and claws to tatter the visions of successful futures. Shaping the letter F into a catalyst of fears, insisting that what we hear is final, but there is no finale to opportunity, only the actions you make because of it. Underneath the scrutiny of success, our will to impress is suppressed by the mind, where in time we find how we can't do this and shan't do that, won't do this and don't do that. Fear like a pump inflating uncertainty into the heart until we go numb. Our forward progress frozen by our anxious anticipation as our ideas that precipitate onto the light of possibility. We step back under the nightlight of comfort, not realizing the shadows that lurk in barely lit places. So we remain comfortable. Remain comfortable with the shadows we didn't wish for. Remain comfortable with the thought that if the odds become obstacles, you shouldn't face the trial. And it sounds okay now, but a light left on is bound to burn out eventually. So let go of comfortable's embrace and thank it for serving its purpose. Grab a flashlight charged with the cells of your passions and light those first steps. And if you're worried about missteps, who's to say that a few steps backward won't lead to steps forward in another direction? Your light will not fade no matter the amount of time failure impedes upon it. Passion is a renewable resource that inspires others to ignite their lights on your plight, their plight, and where there once was no light will burn bright as we invite something more invigorating and comfortable. We will call it success. Thank you.
Wow, like it's so powerful. It's just your voice, the strength of your voice, the rhythm and the poetry is just so powerful. Like whoever doesn't get that message, do something to be able to take advantage of opportunities. Don't stay in your comfort zone, because that's gonna just not change anything. Be a light, be a light up high like a torch, and use your passion to move forward. I mean, those are amazing nuggets, that I just wrote down, as you were talking. And but tell us more about your inspiration when you wrote this, and what were you going through when you wrote this?
Usually I write the dates down when I finish a piece so I can keep the tab on like where in the timeline it was, but This is one of the pieces I wasn't doing that yet. But this is kind of coming out of a period of time where I was homeless for a period of time when I was in college. So I was doing college life plus trying to figure out a living situation and working. It was an interesting mess. But throughout that period of time, I was still like starting to really pursue my art in another way and with another sort of life behind it. And I was finding that I needed to prepare myself for a lot of mistakes. So I ended up writing pieces. To like help coach myself through things sometimes.
Yes. Talk yourself out of it. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And like at this point, I was. This is probably a little after that homeless stint, and I was trying to take on bigger projects that would really like show me that I could actually do it. But at the same time, it was like, I don't know about it. So it was kind of just giving a name to the creature that I've been like hiding in my own mind and holding myself back with. So it was a process of understanding that.
And what happened after?
So
I mean, you coached yourself,
mm-hmm.
and you wrote this, and then how soon after, and you came out of your beautiful mess.
So like I remained pretty focused after this point. I started really like auditioning for shows and teaching dance classes and putting a lot more pride and heart into the craft that I had and the ability that I had. It was the process of starting to really believe in myself and take away some of the negative language that I had been telling myself over the past couple of years. So it led to me taking on bigger roles in shows and not just being in the ensemble in a show, or even challenging myself on a huge scale where I actually produced the music for a show in one of the theaters in one of the bigger theatrical areas here in the state. So I definitely started jumping into more challenges and putting pressure on myself to realize the actual talent that was within me.
Wow, that's very. You must be very proud of yourself, and it's very amazing that you were able to talk yourself out of it. I think our self-talk, as we've studied together, our self-talk is one of our biggest enemies, and it could be our biggest also tool, right, for success. And anything can be a tool for failure, a tool for success, right, or a tool for something positive or for something negative. And you were able to transform your beautiful mess into an encouraging self-coaching lesson that came out as a beautiful poem that who knows who's going to listen here is going to transform their life, and it transformed your life, and that changed your positive view on what was going to come. And you visualized, you had a vision of what your future was going to be if you took action, if you looked at opportunities that you should or you shouldn't, or you could or you couldn't, and then you left that behind, to take action and stop asking questions and stop debating if you would do one thing or the other. Just do it, right? And then then have a result.
Right.
Yeah, and it's incredible when we visualize a future that's different than what we have, and then when we self-talk ourselves to encourage ourselves, it's the only time, and then we take action, is the only way we can fulfill our goals. And I commend you for it. Like, it's congratulations on making a change. And because that is really the secret. The secret is not to think about it. the secret, it's not just like the law of attraction, just focus on it. No. I mean, the secret is those three things that you did. You changed your self-talk, you visualized a different future, and you took action. And of course, you attracted that same vibration or that same result back, but it took a different set of self-talk, a different set of visualization, and a different set of actions. You know, if you visualize, oh, I'm going to fail here, or I'm going to do this, or this is not going to work, or if you visualize it that way, well, it'll never happen.
Right.
Yeah, and so those you did the three secrets, the three keys, the secret, the three keys to real success. You know. And not only that, but you've turned it into a piece of art that you're now sharing with us. So thank you so much for sharing your wisdom in the form of art, which tells me how talented you must be in all your things. So I wanted to ask you more questions and about that, like since you said all these things. So what was the hardest thing to do? What was the hardest thing, the hardest challenge that you had to overcome to do the first step, to take the first action? What was the hardest challenge? Was it to get out of that self-talk, or was it to reach out to someone, or just to give you an example, or was it to actually visualize something different?
Honestly, I don't think I would have done any of that stuff if, going back to the beginning of that homeless period, I don't think I would have done any of that stuff if I didn't actually admit to the faults that I made and actually face those. Like, I think knowing how you got to the point that you're at is also super important. That was like one thing for me. It was just like, I had to really understand how I got there, because I was just letting myself kind of go through the motions to get to the point where I was. So I had to process that and understand, in these ways, maybe I'm not living for myself and what I want, or maybe I haven't been treating the people around me as best as I could. So now, what am I going to do then? Well, I gotta shift. I gotta start doing things for myself, and I have to be more conscious and aware of the relationships I have with other people. And that was just like the domino that started tipping everything else and made me more aware and made me like, oh, okay, well, if I want to do more, I have to get past this fear part.
And that was so communication and relationships, how to handle communication and relationships, I think that's key in life, right? If you don't know how to communicate, how to respect others through communication and through interaction with other people, then nothing happens, right? Like the way you treat someone, it's a chance to have an opportunity that you will never have, right? A helping hand, or even a role in a particular show, or an opportunity to meet another person that will then put you in contact with somebody else. And if you don't know how to talk, to how to speak in a way that you really listen, then and that you're there to, like, okay, I'm gonna listen and just serve, then it's really hard to and it's not easy. And you have a talent, because obviously you wrote this beautiful conversation with yourself, and so you have dominion over the art of words, but yet sometimes we know a lot of things and we know how to do some things, but we don't know how to express them, right? And it's really difficult in relationships. Sometimes it's difficult to let the ego aside. It's difficult to let the ego aside, be humble, and listen to the other person's thoughts, because we're always trying to reply and see what we're going to say back or something,
I've definitely taken to heart the concept of real active listening, and also just making sure giving other people the opportunity to really dive in, and that's why with Strange Mike I do the strange question thing, and because I really want to give an opportunity for them to share who they are and not just the art that they have, because I think that goes such a long way as we get to know each other as people. Like,
right.
yeah, I know you're very talented, but I also know that you're a very kind-hearted person, and that also goes a long way, because like you can be talented but not a kind-hearted person, and people don't want to necessarily be around that. So,
what is the strangest question somebody ever has asked you?
Strangest question someone has asked me? Ooh. Strangest question someone has asked me. I think I would go with, it was really strange in the timing. This is maybe not the question itself is strange, but the timing was really strange. But I had a person ask me at a very like low point for me, and I was just kind of like giving up. I had someone ask me like, "Why aren't you letting your voice out yet?"
That is tough. That's a good one.
Yeah, and it came from a person who they've seen me go through a lot, and they've seen me perform, they've seen me do a lot of these things, and it's like, we know the ability that you have, we know the heart that you have, why aren't you showing it, why are you hiding it in?
Did you answer?
At the time, no, because I didn't really know what it was, and it left me thinking a lot. And then like now it's come down to like, I didn't really know who I was enough to really give that answer to like, what would my voice even sound like, kind of thing, and what words would I do? So that was like, it was definitely a pivotal moment where I just had to sit and say, okay, there's something I'm missing, and there's more time. I need to give more time for the conversations with myself, so I can improve that relationship with myself more.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, sometimes there are key people in your life that may ask you a question like that make you reflect and go back and realize some blockage that we have, and say, well, some blockage, and realize that we're ready, but we are blocking it ourselves, right? And I remember, now I've been a recording artist and a professional singer, meaning earning money with it since I was 17. Yes, no, I was 18. Yeah, since I was 18, I've been earning money with music, and in Venezuela. And at some point, when I came to Boston, I blocked that. I blocked the money coming from the music, and I blocked it, and I said, no, I'm going to do everything for free, because I have this high-paying job, six-figure. I have a high-paying job, six-figure job. I'm a software engineer. I was like, I have and I said, no, I'll just sing for free and pay my musicians with my. I don't know, like, and I blocked it. I blocked all the money coming from my singing, and it was a pleasure. Until, of course, my development as a singer, as a gospel singer, started, until the recording engineer from one of our live shows. We do a special once a year. It's called the Gospel Season for the Mystic Chorale, with 200 people at the Tremont Temple, where Martin Luther King gave his speeches and all. And I was being the soloist for this choir for several years. And for that event, and I was enjoying. I was very happy. And the engineer, the recording engineer, this is a live event, and his top recording for a live concert, and they cut a CD out of it every year. So he said to me, he said, "Come to the studio. I can't wait to hear your voice in my mics." And when I came to the studio, he said, "So, are you earning money with your music?" And I'm like, "No." How come you're not earning money with your music? And it's the kind of the same strange question, like, hello, why isn't this, why aren't you? And he said that, and the second he said it, Eric Kilburn, if you're there, just watch this in the replay. Thank you so much for that. And I didn't know him much. Like, I just went there to test the microphone and see the studio. I love being in the studio. And he, I started crying. And like he said it, the second I was just bawling. And I was bawling, and I'm like, I didn't feel have approval from my family to earn music, to earn money with music. That was like, not okay. And a few weeks after, I did a change in my mindset. And, for those who pray or not pray, or believe or not believe, I prayed, I said, that I need this and I want this. And they called me from the I had done a sub for one singer at the local chapel, a Catholic chapel there's a chapel, a beautiful chapel in a mall here in Boston that was created to have an oasis inside a shopping mall, to create an excuse for the shoppers to go pray without people knowing that they were going to pray. So this is a special kind of population, and they asked me to be the cantor, official cantor for the Spanish ministry every Saturday and Sunday. All of a sudden, I had a salary of $5,000 a year from them, and it just took a change of mindset, like within that month, and it's just and I realized that I was me who was blocking, the of course it's as a professional thing. I do it, it's good, and I can earn money with it. But it was sort of like, I had blocked it because of the rejection from my family to be a singer. That was not, okay for me to be a singer.
I find that as we've been covering in like Genius and stuff, that relationship, not just with people, but with things or concepts, and like when I think of relationship with wealth, for example, like I have definitely crippled myself a lot in that regard, and learning how to break through that, because it's not quite like a habit necessarily, but it's also not something that you can just like pick up and take with you and carry around and like get a new one. So it's like when we start delving into those unknowns of the things going on in our head and those subliminal things, like the littlest nudge or shift provides these big changes, and you don't even realize it until you do it, or like you're looking back at it, or
it's like a huge changes out of little decisions, right? And little small changes that cause life-changing events.
Right.
It's just incredible, and how much we block ourselves from those opportunities, right? Like you said in your own poem, right? Like just a tiny thing, and then you block yourself from an amazing opportunity. If I would have listened to people before I went to Paris, what was supposed to be like 6 months to a year turned to be a 5-year experience until this January. And if I would have listened to them, I wouldn't have met all these amazing people around the world, and also, even Jay Shetty and some of my coaches. So it just changed my life. If I didn't believe in myself, if I don't change something small, you're right. Like small decisions and small change can change your life in a huge way. in a huge way.
Yeah.
What is the last small change that you've done that has changed your life in a huge way, besides this, of course?
Last small change I've done that's changed my life. I would say it's been the little things as far as just deliberate practice. I have recently been setting deliberate practice times for the different mediums I've been working with, and not as much of, oh, I'll practice it when I feel like it kind of thing.
So more disciplined or more organization?
Yeah. More disciplined in the sense that it's less of just an adventure. It's an adventure in a thing with it. So like, if I'm practicing piano, I'm learning a specific song and not just fiddling around on it like I normally do. Or I'm currently writing a poem for a feature that I'm hoping to perform in a couple weeks. That it's really tackling my understanding of my emotions and like coming to terms with, what is my relationship with each of my emotions? Is there, I'm really trying to discover something with each thing that I'm working on, and it's not just let's find something and maybe we'll discover something. Like I'm purposely looking at something that I haven't looked at for myself with each thing.
Oh wow. Yeah, so you're curious of finding something new. Curious, you're open and curious to find something new in the particular action that you're taking, and then that gives you more juice for creativity.
Yeah, and it's been really interesting because now I'm thinking back, and I used to work at a Boys and Girls Club in a different town, Rochester, that I used to live in, and those kids are so talented and bright and playful, and it's such a beautiful thing. But the things that they will teach you is huge. And like kids I've even worked with in shows recently, even now that I'm thinking about it, I've learned so much from the unwalled off minds of the kids that I've been around, because they don't see those limitations that we've built up so long over the years. And so I've been really like, that's been another little change that I've been doing. I've been taking time and saying like, let's think like a kid. Let's imagine something being built right in front of me. Let's create a world. Let's, for a moment, play with lightsabers in our heads or something. Like, let's get a little silly and just play more.
That's fun. Yeah, like to be open to whatever happens. Yeah. Yeah, kids are amazing. I also used to work with a lot of kids, teaching them. I was for a time here in Boston, I was a director of a musical theater for some performance. It was a gospel show, but it was a theatrical performance. And then I was working with the kids, and they were amazing. And I love working with kids. I love children, and usually I'm a goofball, and I like to play with all kinds of funny stuff and physical stuff. I usually like I have a trampoline in my house, like that's so
awesome.
I like to jump, and dance and be silly, and like so when the kids used to come, all the daughters and sons of my friends from work or my choirs, they would come visit me. They actually would ask their parents to come visit me to play. And so we would do all kinds of fun things, and they would always, oh my God, the kids are so wise, they're so unafraid, they're so curious, they're so open, and we forget many times, right? We forget that we are those kids, I think I was doing a meditation the other day with Deepak and Oprah, and it said that that you find hope in innocence, that the kids have hope because they have innocence, And then if we could go back to our innocence, to think about how we thought when we were a child, to find hope again, we could connect with that hope and then make it real for us right now. A lot of people are hopeless these times. Like, oh, when are we going to be able to get out? Like, they don't know. They're getting out, but then the numbers are climbing, so they want to rein people back in. So what's happening? So people are losing hope a little bit after so many days of confinement and so many days of uncertainty, so many days of feeling bombarded by so much information, negative. So hope is easy to be lost, but we can use our memories of when we worked with children, memories of the things that children teach us, and reconnect with that hope, from our childhood innocence. I like remember when Jay Shetty was talking in some of his lives. He was saying, I think it was some of the meditations, like, what would your younger self tell you, right? Yeah. I love that. I love when he says that, because as soon as he says it, I know exactly what she's gonna tell me. And I know exactly. So I'm like, well, if I know, like, why don't I do it, or why don't I think it, or why don't I, And it's really, we have that inner child, basically, is what I'm trying to say. We still have it alive in us, but we have put so many layers and so many.
Right, and that's been, like, before the strange mic thing happened, I was already, like, asking people questions just because I was just genuinely curious. One of my favorite questions to ask people is, what's a lesson that your younger self would teach you now? And, like, is still, to this day, I have, like, this list of questions, but that's still one of my favorite ones to ask.
That's your favorite to ask. Yeah, I think it's a really telling one. I think because it's your true self. It's like your true, it's your true desire. And I usually do the same thing with the people that work with me. I tell them, let's go back. And when they say, I want to do this and this and this and that, I say, well, hold on. Why don't we go back to, like, if you had all the resources, if you had all the time, if you were absolutely prepared for everything, what would you really want to do? And then we work from, the beginning, and from really the beginning, like, what would you really want to do? Like, for life, for work, for right now, maybe nothing. And that's okay too, and that's okay too. It's just, take your time to really, because our youngest self can tell a lot about what we should be doing that we had forgotten. Yeah, and sometimes being playful again can put us in contact with that. What do you do, like, in these days as an adult, to remind yourself of your younger self?
I juggle.
Cool. Just balls or something else?
I have a set of juggling balls. I also have a set of crystal sticks or flower sticks. I used to work at a toy store, so that's where I kind of, like, picked up these things.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
But yeah, it's still one of my favorite, like, really creative things that are just, like, that I'm aware that are just, like, a hobby of mine that I really enjoy. But it's a nice balance of a, like, really thoughtful process, but also a really playful journey too.
I see. How many can you juggle at the same time?
The most I can do, kind of, is 4. So I can do 3 pretty solidly. And it's been really, really fun to just explore that. Stationary Astronaut just joined in. That's a podcast group that I work for. That's what this hat is too. I actually juggled on the live stream for that.
Cool.
Just out of silliness.
That's cool.
But it was a fun time. I just, like, and it's a way to just smile for no reason. I feel like It's just 3 balls going through the air, and you're just having fun messing around and enjoying yourself.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I think I have juggled 3. I have tried. I have, but not for too long. Not like maybe like a couple. Yeah, I have done. Yeah, I have tried, and it's fun. It's like a challenge, right? Like
Right.
can you hold it? Can you keep the concentration? And at the same time, you just like yeah, that you're right. It makes you smile.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I think it's such a cool thing because it's a good teacher of how to make mistakes in a healthy way. Because you're going to drop it, you're going to mess up,
Yeah.
and hopefully you start learning how to laugh at yourself because you're just like, I did it again, or I hit the ball in my face once, twice,
Gosh.
several times.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Yeah, it must be. Yeah, it's yeah. You have to have a lot of coordination, and yeah, it's tough. It's a tough thing. Well, you're an artist, so it's good to have all the skills that you can have to to teach you. Yeah, a lot of we can learn a lot about from games and from the games we play. Um, yeah, definitely.
Can I throw a question at you?
Yes, you can. Yeah, obviously.
Okay. I haven't asked this question to anybody yet, but
Okay.
if you were to think of yourself like a game, what game would you be?
Oh, for sure, the gratitude, the gratitude, cafe gratitude game. There's a game. I don't know if you've ever seen it. I would be that game. So,
Okay.
so have you ever heard about that game?
I don't think so.
No. So Jason Mraz, you know Jason Mraz, right? Jason Mraz,
The name sounds familiar.
the guy that says,
Oh, Jason Mraz, did you say?
Jason Mraz, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
right, like,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, so he when he hosts his concert, when he used to host his concerts live, so he has there's a cafe in San Francisco called Gratitude Cafe, and they came up with a board game that had 4 corners, and you go through the path, and it's the path of life, and through certain blocks you get asked questions, and you put a challenge, and but it's all about feeling gratitude for who you are, what you have, and where you are, and it's beautiful. So he sets up a cafe on the floor at his concerts, and everybody that goes to the concert is going to play with everybody, and it's really deep. Like the questions of the cards and everything is you're really vulnerable. It's almost like Jay's recommendation of all the different not to do small talk but do deeper questions.
Yeah.
And then you have to share these things with these strangers in the concert. Like, what is the thing that you're most proud of in your life? Like, if you loved yourself, what would be the most loving thing you can tell to yourself? Or what would you say about the person across the board? It's a beautiful game, and
That's awesome.
it was super cool, and that's the game I would be. And I had actually bought the game, and I left it, and I went to the cafe actually eventually to see the cafe. It's an organic, all vegetarian cafe, beautiful in San Francisco, and also I left when I moved to Paris, I left the game with my friend Julie, now my business partner, and she's there somewhere, like Julie, and she can say hi or wave or something. But yeah, so I left it with her and said, yeah, I think you would be the one to keep that game when I'm away, because I didn't want to leave it in storage. I didn't want to take it because it's a box. So, but yeah, it would be the gratitude game. What would you be? What would you be?
I like to be a card game called Mao, I think.
What's that?
Mao is honestly, it plays similar roughly to Uno, but the whole process of the game is you learn the rules as you play it, and as the longer the game goes on, the more rules get added to the game.
Oh, wow!
So it's an ever-changing game if you go long enough.
Wow!
And I just love the idea of that unknown, that uncertainty of not knowing, and that discovery of learning it and figuring it out and taking on the process of that. So.
Wow. Wow, that's interesting. So a game where the rules change and get added as you go along. I think that's life. It really is life. You know, the rules change every single day for us, right? The rules
Yep.
change. It depends where you are, how you are, and you never know what they're gonna be and when they're gonna come.
Right.
Yeah, it's true. It's life. Yeah.
Someone says snakes and ladders.
Snakes and ladders. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've played that one. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm kind of interested in hearing why. So if you have this time to type in a response, I would love to see it.
Yes, please. Yes, please. Yeah, so we have 10 more minutes left, nine more minutes left on the Instagram live. You know, I know it cuts off after 1 hour. I'm probably gonna reconnect and then sing a couple songs that I wanted to sing and show people. But I wanted to, give you some time to say, some final thoughts and reflections.
Well, first off, thank you for having me on because it's been a huge pleasure. One, just being here, two, getting to know you better, and also having the opportunity to perform my piece with your audience. I'm super grateful for that. Then, secondly, I hope that for the people watching, have a chance to think about some things that they didn't think about before, like what game they would be, or like maybe you thought about some things that you are holding yourself back from, and maybe you got a chance to think about, what would it take to push myself to do the things I'm trying to do, and not just holding myself back from them. So I guess that would be my final thoughts. And again, if you guys feel inclined to come and visit Strange Mike on Monday at 7 p.m. Central, feel free to give me a follow at Xenameir, and I'd love to see you guys there. Love seeing people say hi, watch, perform, whatever feels comfortable for you. I want it to be a space where we build community with each other. So
that's great. And so if you want to follow Dominique at Xenameir, like you can see it up here, those in YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, and Periscope, they can see his name and his Instagram at Xenameir. How do you say it? How do you pronounce it?
Xenameir.
Xenameir. It's his handle on Instagram, and you can follow him, and you can go to his open mics on Mondays, and you can share the answer of his strange question. There is a host. The host of the very first and the most famous open mic in Paris was live yesterday for the first time since the confinement. Thomas Brun. Thomas, if you're listening to this, please join Xenameir in his Instagram on Monday. Please, 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 please. It would be lovely to be on his open mic on Monday. It may be too late for him because it's 6 hours ahead, but it doesn't matter. He is he is a night owl. He is an artist. Not artists. We are awake all night, right? So So Thomas, I invite you to go to his open mic on Mondays. He's an amazing artist, and it'll be fun for him to share with you. And any musician, I'm just asking Thomas because I know Thomas is another host. And for a host to meet a host is very special, and then you can exchange hosting. So that would be awesome. Anyway, well, thank you so much, Dominique, for staying with us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing your time, your wisdom, your art. That piece, it's lovely. You can find it on YouTube after. You can find it. In the link.
I can post it. I don't have it up yet, so that would be. I could make a video here soon. I should do that.
No, it's up. So it's live right now on YouTube, Periscope, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch. So after that, it's going to be recorded and saved and published. So it's all going to be there on Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, Periscope, and YouTube, and also library, lbry.tv at my channel as well. And they sync all my YouTube videos with LBRY.
Gotcha.
And if you want to know more about that, send me a message. It's an alternative to YouTube, but decentralized and uncensored. So it's really good and user controlled. Nobody controls it. So it's really good. So it's free and it's really cool. Anyway, I'm a little geek, so I like all that stuff. So, well, if you have any questions, anyway, feel free to send them in the message. Thank you so much for watching. We have just a few minutes left. Thank you so much to the sponsors. Our sponsor, Casablanca House of Pastry in Riviere, with their owners Youssef and Nabil from Morocco. They have amazing cafe and Moroccan cuisine and French pastries that you're going to suck your fingers from it. And thank you so much, Casablanca House of Pastry. You can find them right there, Casablanca House of Pastry, website, Instagram, and Facebook. And thank you so much, Dominique, for joining me again. Thank you so much to everybody that's tuned in. I'll look at the messages after and reply. And so send us messages if you have any questions. Follow us if you want to see more. I do these live Songversations from Tuesday to Saturday, and Saturday is a little longer format where I do some more concert type, or now I'm bringing up a guest. It's a special guest, and so thank you so much, and we will see you soon. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.